Hey guys, I'm Dan. Welcome to Anna Shunin. Today we've got the full leak of Blue Lock Chapter 304. This was a long video to make, so share it with your friends and help us grow. Join the team. Let's get into the video. The chapter titled Yume no Akunin, or The Villain of Dreams, opens in a calm and introspective way, a stark contrast to the usual intensity of Blue Lock matches. We see the protagonist, Yoichi Isagi, in a rare moment of peace at home. He's sitting at the table, in front of what looks like a delicious homemade meal, a bowl of white rice, a generous breaded pork cutlet, tonkatsu, and what seems to be miso soup, your typical Japanese lunch or dinner. The artwork captures Isagi's thoughtful expression as he gazes at the food. His thoughts reveal that some time has passed since a major event. He specifically mentions the day he injured his shoulder, hinting at previous scenes in the story, likely during the intense match against Ubers in the Neo Egoist League, where he pushed himself to the limit. This quiet moment helps set a familiar tone and shows Isagi outside the high-pressure world of Blue Lock, giving readers a rare glimpse into his personal life and his process of recovery or reflection after the game. He then puts his hands together in the traditional Japanese gesture and says "itadakimasu," a customary phrase meaning "I humbly receive." It's a way of expressing gratitude for the food, including appreciation for everyone involved in getting it to the table, from nature to the cook. It's a small cultural touch, but it adds to the cozy, homey vibe and highlights Isagi's polite, grounded personality off the field. This scene sets a tone of normalcy and gratitude, preparing the reader for the inner reflections and events to follow, connecting us with the more human, everyday side of the protagonist, before diving back into the complex journey of his soccer career. On the second page, Isagi's parents don't appear. Instead, the focus stays on his introspection following the meal shown on page 1. We see Isagi sitting on the floor, possibly in his room or living room, looking shocked and confused. The space around him is simple, suggesting he's mentally replaying the match. Most of the page is taken up by his thoughts, giving us insight into the storm going on in his mind. He asks himself, what was that? My shot got blocked? Clearly struggling to process how his attempt was stopped in the previous match. Side panels show fragmented flashbacks of that play, visually reinforcing the memory that's haunting him. The core of his inner conflict is expressed in his question, wasn't I supposed to be learning how to score goals? A statement that echoes Blue Lock's philosophy, but is now full of doubt. The fact that his shot was blocked is making him question whether he's truly on the right path or if something's still missing. This page paints a clear picture of Isagi's internal struggle, showing how shaken he is as he begins to dissect the failure. Not just the outcome, but the entire process that led to the block. His expression and the intensity of his thoughts show that this wasn't just any failed shot. It's one that challenges his current understanding of the game and his own abilities. His t-shirt, ironically printed with the phrase "not genius," adds another layer to his ongoing pursuit of growth and soccer genius. Page 3 takes Isagi's mental analysis even deeper, shifting the focus from just the blocked shot seen on page 2 to the actual start of the play itself. The page opens with a dynamic panel showing a scene from the previous match. A player wearing the number 10 jersey, likely Yo Hiyori, given his later importance in Isagi's reflection and his passing skills, is moving the ball forward, while a number 8 player tries to mark him. The text wonders whether that was the game-changing starting point, showing that Isagi is breaking down the entire sequence that led to the climactic moment, trying to understand not just the finish, but the build-up to the opportunity. In the next panels, we're back with Isagi, deep in thought. He looks intensely focused, and the surrounding text walks us through what he's considering. It stimulates the battlefield, trap, dribble, pass, the idea. He's breaking down the play into core components, trying to figure out the logic behind it all. The mention of a collection of plays from the scent of a goal suggests he's mentally organizing this particular sequence into his evolving framework of how scoring chances are created. There's also a glimpse of a mysterious figure with glasses covering their face, possibly symbolizing a mentor figure like Ego or Noah, or maybe just the abstract complexity he's trying to untangle. This page marks a turning point in Isagi's reflection. He's no longer just upset about failing. He's actively searching for the key to understanding the play on a deeper level, realizing that creating the chance can be just as important as finishing it. Page 4 brings us to the moment where Isagi begins to have an epiphany. The central image shows him still sitting, but now with a more distant, contemplative look, as if he's staring into an invisible horizon. Around him, like ghostly figures on a stylized soccer field, we see players in motion, likely representing the world-class players or top-tier rivals ahead of him, like Kaiser, Rin, or others from the Neo Egoist League. The composition suggests that Isagi is starting to sense the existence of an entirely different level of the game, a football philosophy or dimension he hasn't yet grasped. The prominent text overlay captures this moment. The kind of football I don't even know about is out there. This page marks a crucial turning point in Isagi's inner journey. He's no longer just focused on that one failed shot or the mechanics of sniffing out goals. His thinking has expanded. He's realizing there's an entire paradigm of soccer operating on a higher level, played by those who are currently ahead of him. The page conveys a strong sense of discovery and maybe a little apprehension as he begins to confront the limits of his current knowledge and the vast amount he still needs to learn to reach the top of the world. The earlier analysis about the goalie's anticipation and the scent of a goal might belong to a later page or be part of this broader reflection on this unknown football. Page 5 captures Isagi's shift in perspective as he transforms his initial frustration into a sense of competitive excitement. The page continues the theme of the unknown soccer introduced on the previous page, with the text on the right proclaiming that it's overflowing all over the world. We see more images of skilled players in action, reinforcing the idea that this level of play is everywhere, something Isagi is just now beginning to grasp. However, the main focus is on Isagi's reaction to this realization. Rather than feeling intimidated, a close-up of his face reveals a renewed intensity, almost a sparkle in his eyes. His thoughts exclaim, "Interesting! Fun!" This is a classic Isagi response. He doesn't see seemingly insurmountable challenges as barriers, but as fascinating new puzzles to solve. He feels an urge to absorb this newness, thinking, input, absorb, new stimuli. He realizes that to grow and compete at this higher level, he needs to understand and integrate these new concepts and skills into his own play. The page also reveals the ambition behind this mindset. I want to reach Ego Jinpachi's dimension of thinking. Isagi doesn't just want to understand this new soccer, he aspires to reach the same level of strategic and analytical insight as his mentor, antagonist, Ego. This page, therefore, doesn't just show the identification of a problem, but also the spark of excitement and the setting of a bold new goal in Isagi's journey. Page 6 finally brings us back to the family dinner scene that was briefly introduced on page 1, but got interrupted by Isagi's long internal monologue. Here, we clearly see Isagi sitting at the table with his parents, Iyo and Issei, sharing a tonkatsu meal. His mom, Iyo, with a warm smile, says something like, "Great job today, Yo-chan," using an affectionate nickname, showing her pride and support. His dad, Issei, with an enthusiastic expression and glasses, adds to the celebratory mood. He gestures toward the food, specifically mentioning mom's tonkatsu, likely reinforcing the idea that this is a meal to celebrate a victory or strong performance, echoing the earlier analysis I had mistakenly attributed to page 2. The focus then shifts to Isagi. Despite all the complex thoughts running through his mind just moments before, he genuinely seems to enjoy the moment. One panel shows his profile with a satisfied expression, and a thought bubble confirms it. Delicious. Eating tonkatsu after a win is delicious. This validates his father's words and shows Isagi's ability to find comfort and joy in family support and small traditions, even amid intense personal challenges. His mother then adds a comment, perhaps asking something like, "Will you have some time off now?" showing that they're aware of his schedule with Blue Lock, even if they don't fully grasp the intensity of the program. This page reestablishes the contrast between Isagi's fiercely competitive world and the peaceful refuge of home, highlighting how vital this family support is to his journey. Page 7 continues the family dinner conversation, deepening the interaction between Isagi and his parents. The top panel gives a wider view of the dinner table, showing all three of them eating together. A thought bubble from Isagi provides important context. He mentions that the next big goal is the U20 World Cup U20, even though it still feels a bit far off, and that he was told to rest for 2 weeks, likely a recovery period after the intense Neo Egoist League and the shoulder injury mentioned earlier. This helps situate the scene in time and sets the stage for the next major story arc. The lower panels focus on the parents' dialogue with Isagi. His dad, Issei, continues to express his excitement and pride. He comments on how things seem clearer or more understandable now, likely referring to Isagi's growing success and recognition. With a big smile, he praises his son, noting that both his popularity and skills are rising. His mom, Iyo, joins in, clearly happy and perhaps asking a few more questions. His dad then directs a question or comment at Isagi, who casually and affirmatively responds, showing that despite his mind being filled with complex football thoughts, as seen in the previous pages, he's still present and engaged with his family. This scene reinforces both the parents' pride and Isagi's rising fame outside the controlled Blue Lock environment, while also showing Isagi's ability to balance his inner world with real-life moments. Page 8 continues the family conversation, giving more insight into Isagi's current status and motivations. In the top panel, as Isagi eats, his thoughts reveal the pressure and opportunities that have come with his performance in the Neo Egoist League. He thinks about the offers from foreign clubs and high salaries being thrown around, indicating that his market value has skyrocketed. However, he also recalls the instruction he was given. For now, focus on the U20 World Cup. This shows that despite being pursued by clubs, his immediate focus is on representing Japan internationally, likely under the direction of Blue Lock or his mentors. In the lower panels, the focus shifts to a sweet interaction between Isagi and his mom. Isagi thanks her, arigato, likely for her support or the meal. Io expresses her pride openly, saying how he fought so hard and even became #1 within Blue Lock, referring to his final ranking in the Neo Egoist League, where he surpassed Kaiser. She affectionately calls him Yokan. Isagi responds with a big, sincere smile, clearly thrilled. He confirms that he really did want to be #1 and that it was something he decided when he entered the league. I decided I wanted to be #1 when I entered the league, so I'm really happy I made it. Seriously. His emphatic repetition of Maji Day, like for real or seriously, highlights the intensity of his desire and the joy of finally reaching that goal. Despite all the complex reflection on the unknown soccer, he still values deeply the personal achievement of being the best. Page 9 continues the family dinner dynamic, adding a light, humorous touch before introducing a new element. In the top panels, the conversation continues. Issei, the dad, seems to be teasing Isagi playfully, maybe making a comment about how serious he looks or the attention he's getting. Isagi, still eating, looks a bit embarrassed or maybe slightly annoyed at the teasing, responding with something like, "Huh? What is it?" His dad makes a playful gesture, possibly a peace sign or something goofy, while saying something like, Nah, I'm just proud. That's my boy," keeping the mood fun and warm. In the middle panels, Isagi's mother, Ayo, steps in with a smile, gently scolding her husband. "Aha! Honey, don't say anything else. That's not good for the kids watching." Her line playfully acknowledges how Isagi has become a public figure, even within a family setting. The father seems to take the reprimand in stride, responding with good humor. This moment highlights the warm and realistic dynamic of the Isagi family, where there's room for teasing and mutual support. But the cozy family atmosphere is suddenly interrupted in the bottom panel. The sound of the doorbell, represented by the onomatopoeia pin-pon, echoes through the house. Isagi, who had been relaxed, lifts his head, his expression shifting to surprise and curiosity. A small panel shows a delivery person standing outside the door, signaling the arrival of something unexpected. This sound marks the end of the family interlude and the beginning of a new development in the story, breaking the tranquility and reintroducing an external element to the narrative. In the bottom panel, Isagi picks up the white envelope, examining it with curiosity. He also seems to notice something else, perhaps a note or a plane ticket alongside the envelope, thinking, and a plane ticket? The Blue Lock logo on all the items makes it clear that this mysterious delivery is directly linked to the project and to Ego Jinpachi. The page builds a strong sense of mystery and anticipation. What's on those discs? What does the letter say? And why a plane ticket? These questions set the stage for the coming reveal, hinting that Isagi is about to receive new instructions or face a new challenge from Ego. Page 11 focuses on the letter inside the envelope shown on the previous page. The top panel offers a close-up of the letter held by Isagi. The sender is clearly marked Ego Jinpachi, and the recipient is Isagi Yoichi-sama. The letter is short and direct, written in Ego's characteristic tone. Isagi either reads it aloud or thinks to himself, "A letter from Mr. Ego?" The message reads, "Understand football, Isagi Yoichi. The key to your next evolution is in here. Find it yourself." This enigmatic yet challenging message confirms that the package contains crucial material for Isagi's growth, but places the burden of discovery entirely on him. In the bottom panels, we see Isagi and his mother's reactions. Isagi, with a serious, focused look, processes Ego's words. He thinks, "Understand football? What does he mean by that? My next evolution?" Then it hits him. A mission, just for me. The idea of receiving a personalized challenge directly from Ego seems to excite and motivate him deeply. Beside him, his mother Io watches with a mix of curiosity and maybe a little concern, joking, "What is it, Yokan? A love letter from Mr. Ego?" Her humor lightens the mood, but also shows she senses the importance of the moment. This page clearly establishes that Isagi has received a direct personal challenge from Ego, raising expectations about the disc's content and what this next evolution will entail. Page 12 deepens the discussion about Ego Jinpachi, contrasting Isagi's view with that of his parents. The page begins with Isagi reflecting on Ego's nature after his mom's earlier comment. With a slight smile, Isagi thinks he only speaks the raw, honest truth, hun, even if it's harsh. Being around someone like that, suggesting he respects and perhaps even admires Ego's brutal honesty, despite how uncomfortable it can be. His thoughts are paired with mental images of Ego, a sharp close-up of his face with glasses, followed by another with his wide, almost manic grin. Isagi concludes, maybe he's someone who truly has his own philosophy. He's starting to understand the depth and conviction behind Ego's words and actions, seeing him as more than just an eccentric coach. In contrast, the next panels show his parents' reactions. His dad, I say, recognizes Ego in a more superficial way, smiling and saying, "Oh, that scary-looking guy from BLTV." His mom, Io, adds, perhaps naively but practically, "So Yo-chan can make even more use of him." Their understanding is shaped by Ego's public image and Isagi's results, not the deeper philosophy Isagi is beginning to grasp. Isagi, in turn, reflects silently with a "yeah, and begins another thought with also, sorhei ni, suggesting there's more he wants to say. This page highlights the contrast between how Isagi and his parents perceive Ego and Blue Lock, emphasizing the protagonist's growth and shifting perspective. Page 13 continues the reflection on Ego Jinpachi, now focusing on the immense conviction he has in his project and in the potential of Japanese soccer. The top panel shows a vast and perhaps daunting landscape, while a thought bubble, possibly from Isagi or an internal narrator, mentions the belief that Japanese football will win the World Cup. This ambitious dream, central to Blue Lock's philosophy, hangs over the scene like a challenge. In the middle panel, we see Isagi's parents, Issei and Io, with more serious and contemplative expressions than before. Issei, deep in thought, makes a striking observation about Ego, the one who believes most in this, that Japan will win the World Cup on this earth. In the lower panel, he finishes his thought, looking toward Isagi. Is that Ego Jinpachi, isn't it? Despite their earlier, more surface-level impressions, his parents now seem to grasp the intensity and near fanatical belief Ego has in his goal. Meanwhile, Isagi, still holding or looking at Ego's letter, reflects on the message, "Find yourself." His inner monologue reveals the impact of Ego's words. For some reason, I believe in him. The seriousness of an adult, the weight behind his words. Isagi feels the conviction behind Ego's challenge. It's not just a task, but something essential for his own growth and for Ego's greater goal. This page establishes Ego not just as a strategist, but as a man of unwavering conviction. So much so that even Isagi finds himself inspired. The 14th page is almost entirely devoted to a defining moment in Isagi's evolving perception of Ego Jinpachi. We get a close-up of Isagi with a serious, determined look, staring straight ahead, either at the reader or just off to the side. Behind him looms a dark, stylized image of Ego Jinpachi with a wide smile and piercing eyes, like a haunting presence or a constant influence in Isagi's mind. This visual portrayal of Ego as a powerful, maybe even ominous figure hovering over Isagi is striking. Isagi's thoughts dominate the page, revealing how complicated his view of Ego has become. In the top bubble, he thinks, Ego Jinpachi is the most interesting, or the craziest. This captures his mix of fascination and maybe a bit of fear. Isagi sees Ego's eccentricity and extremeness, but also finds him captivating. The larger, more prominent thought bubble delivers the defining line, "He's the villain or savior of my dreams." The word akunin usually means villain or bad guy, but in the context of Isagi's dreams, and given Ego's paradoxical nature, it feels more ambiguous. He's someone who pushes Isagi forward using unorthodox or even harsh methods, a necessary antagonist for his growth, almost like an anti-hero. This line perfectly captures the complex, symbiotic relationship between Isagi and Ego. Ego is the one who challenges, provokes, and tears down Isagi's preconceived notions. But it's precisely through that villainy that he forces Isagi to grow and chase his boldest dreams. This page cements Ego's role as the central catalyst in Isagi's journey. The 15th page shifts the focus back to Isagi's parents and their reaction to Ego Jinpachi and the package that was delivered. In the top panel, we see Issei and Io side by side, their expressions softer and more reflective. Io, with a gentle, maybe slightly relieved smile, says, "Yo-chan, it looks like you found someone good to guide you, huh? I'm excited for your future." Her perspective centers on her son's growth and well-being. She sees Ego's influence, however strange, as a positive force, driving Isagi forward. In the bottom panel, the dynamic shifts slightly. Issei seems a bit more perceptive, or maybe just playful. He turns to Isagi, who's standing nearby with a somewhat serious or thoughtful look, and says with a smile, "You've changed, Yoichi. You seem a little different from before. More solid, maybe?" Isagi replies, a little defensive, or maybe just affirming the change. It's not like that, his dad continues, perhaps downplaying things or just teasing him. Still, I'm just happy about that. Isagi seems to accept the comment, perhaps reflecting on how much he really has changed since entering Blue Lock. This page shows his parents processing the situation in their own ways, the mother focusing on Isagi's growth and the father picking up on how he's transforming, while Isagi quietly reflects on the personal mission he's been given. The 16th page offers a more intimate look at Isagi's parents, showing their unconditional support and a heartfelt, if limited, understanding of the competitive world their son now inhabits. In the top panel, Isagi sits on the floor, still sorting through or looking at the box of discs, while his parents stand slightly behind him, watching with warmth. Issei rests a hand on Io's shoulder, a gesture of closeness and shared support. A thought bubble, likely from Isagi, reads, "No matter how much I change, the fact that mom and dad are my family doesn't change. It reinforces the importance of home as a safe, grounding force, a contrast to the constant pressure and flux of the outside world." The bottom panels zoom in on his parents' faces, capturing their emotions and thoughts about Isagi's future. Issei, with a warm but serious smile, says, "From now on, Yoichi's going to fight for something even bigger, I think." He acknowledges that his son's challenges are only growing. Io follows with a mix of concern and love. Even if he gets hurt or gets knocked down, I think he'll keep living and fighting in this competitive world. But she trails off, her words ending in ellipses, showing the quiet anxiety of a mother watching her child enter a ruthless world. Yet, she still accepts and supports his journey. This page deepens their characters, showing not just pride, but also their hidden worries, and reinforces the theme of unwavering family support as a pillar for Isagi. The 17th page closes the family interaction on an emotional note, reaffirming the support of Isagi's parents. In the top panel, we see Issei and Io smiling warmly at their son. Issei says, "No matter what happens, always come back home." Io adds, "Strengthening the idea of home as a sanctuary, mom and dad will always be here, waiting for you." Their words convey unconditional love and support, reassuring Isagi that regardless of what he faces in the harsh world of competition, he will always have a place to return to. The center panel focuses on a close-up of Isagi's face. His eyes are wide open, and he looks visibly emotional, maybe surprised or touched by the depth of his parents' support. The simplicity and sincerity of their words seem to resonate deeply with him. In the lower left panel, we see Isagi bowing deeply in a gesture of respect and gratitude, saying, "Itsumo arigatou gozaimasu," which means thank you, always. It's a moment of sincere acknowledgement for the constant support he receives. In the lower right panels, the scene shifts. We see Isagi now outside, holding the box sent by Ego, ready to leave. His parents wave from the doorway with encouraging expressions. His mother says something like, "Take care," or "Do your best," while his father adds a final word of encouragement. The page marks Isagi's farewell to his home, now armed not only with Ego's mysterious mission, but also strengthened by the unwavering love and support of his family, ready to face the next stage of his journey. Page 18 shows Isagi back in the privacy of his room, ready to dive into the exclusive task assigned by Ego. The top panel gives an overview of the room. Isagi is sitting on the floor, the cardboard box open in front of him, containing the discs and the letter. He picks up one of the discs, whose label seems to say something like Euro 2008 Final. His expression is serious and focused, and he thinks, what's on these discs? The setting in the room, with the bed and TV in the background, creates an atmosphere of study and personal focus, contrasting with the previous family scene. The lower panel zooms in on Isagi's action. He stands in front of the TV, remote in hand, about to press play on the first disc. The TV screen shows a menu with various video options, probably different matches or clips on the disc. Isagi thinks to himself, "For now, I'll just play it. What does Mr. Ego want me to learn?" His curiosity is piqued, and he's ready to absorb the content, looking for the key to my next evolution mentioned in Ego's letter. The page ends with Isagi about to start watching, leaving the reader in suspense about what exactly he will see and how it will help him understand soccer on a deeper level. The journey of self-analysis and learning is about to begin. Page 19 shows Isagi starting to watch the footage on the discs sent by Ego. The TV displays a soccer match, specifically the Euro 2008 final between Germany, GER, and Spain, ESP, indicated by the 0-0 score and the abbreviations in the upper corner of the TV screen. The top panel shows a wide shot of the field with players positioned. A thought bubble from Isagi confirms, after all, it's soccer footage. An old match? A recording from the middle of the game? He's beginning to analyze the material. The following panels show specific moments from the match on the screen, interspersed interspersed with Isagi's reactions. We see a player, probably Fernando Torres, wearing Spain's number 9 jersey in Euro 2008, scoring a goal with "Goal!" highlighted. Isagi watches closely. Another panel shows a different player, maybe David Villa or another key player, in action. Isagi keeps watching, and his thoughts reveal his initial confusion. This is different from the match footage I'm used to watching. What is this? He realizes there's something unique about how this match is presented, or the focus of the material, different from the tactical analyses or highlights he might be used to. The page establishes that the discs contain real matches, but suggests the key to Isagi's evolution lies in observing something specific or analyzing in a new way, following Ego's mysterious instructions. Page 20, the final page of the chapter, broadens the focus beyond Isagi, revealing he's not the only one to receive an exclusive task from Ego Jinpachi. The page is split into 3 horizontal panels, each showing a different Blue Lock player in a distinct setting, but sharing a similar experience. The top panel shows Meguru Bachira with his signature smile, opening an envelope similar to Isagi's, bearing the Blue Lock logo, while in his environment in Spain, possibly at FC Barça. The middle panel shows Yoichi Chigiri with a serious and determined expression, also holding an identical envelope, likely in his environment in England, Manshine City. Both seem to have received personalized instructions from Ego. The text overlaid on these panels reinforces the idea of continuity and preparation. Blue Lock is still in the middle of evolution. Aoi Kangoku Wamada Shinka no Tochuda. This indicates that the development process instigated by Ego is far from over and is now entering a more individualized phase focused on the top players. The bottom panel shows a striking image of Isagi in profile, with an intense and focused expression, possibly already absorbing the content of the discs or reflecting on the challenge. In the background, a mountainous landscape or training field can be seen. The final text sets the deadline and looming goal: 45 days until the U20 World Cup. This countdown creates a sense of urgency and marks the official start of final preparations for the tournament, where the individual evolutions of Isagi, Bachira, Chigiri, and others will be tested on the world stage. The chapter ends by laying the groundwork for the next arc, focused on the player's individual development heading into the World Cup.
You